Alright, we're currently doing some mock-up, and we're using 1.5" angle up here at the top, 1.25" down here at the bottom, putting these on foot centers. And down here we're going to be using 1" angle that's going to be used for the fender mounts. Being cup mounted, we're going to be tack welding all this together and using this plate to go level between the 2 points of each one of these. And we're going to have a few more of them in there. You can see the marks down there where they go. Now the rest of this is just going to be some pretty simple construction technique. Nothing really hard to do. And here over here is the fenders. This is one of them, just a production fender, and we'll be showing how to mount that thing here pretty quick. And I had this sitting in storage for about probably 7 or 8 years. So it's a little rough for wear, but tacked up good, cleaned up okay. A lot of grinding, a lot of rust was on it, but I have a pair of them and working on that next. As you can see up in there, there is the shocks. The trailer's now for squaring purposes on these jack stands all the way around. So they're all mounted on there, and you got a little bit of trimming, cut, and cleanup work to do, and a whole lot of cleaning. All of these rails are fully welded in, tires are removed, and this is the plating. Needs some grind down. This is the plating that the fender is going to mount on. The lower half of the fender will mount here, and that also gave me an opportunity to beef it up a little bit, like little braces going down, additional places. Back here on the back, we will have, for the brake lights and license tags on this side, we have a piece that just got bent into place, whole piece of scrap metal to strengthen up the rear for the gate that goes on here, and just an old cheap salvaged RV light, boat trailer light or boat light or whatever you want to call it. So it will mount on here like so. A license plate will have a mount underneath it that will go down also down here. The other side not yet to be finished. The fender ready for it, but the other side is not finished yet. And we have the whole trailer's up on jack stands to make sure it stays perfectly squared. And as you can see, all the shocks are mounted. I still got a little work to do in here, but not too bad. These are the steps of building this out of a salvaged RV frame. Now, this RV frame is quite unlike most of them built today. This is an older RV frame. The way that it's built is substantial compared to the way that the new ones are built. This has very heavy framing inside of it. I built these additional trusses in it. That is original framing, that's original framing, and this is original framing. And then what they used going across here was metal also, but it was removable, and I did remove it and redo it. So that Big Harbor Freight welder is doing a good job. It's got about 1,000 hours on it. Seems to be still running good, but the fan's giving out on it. And give you an idea here, what we're looking at, we've got a 16-foot bed, and total cost to do this is going to probably be in the $300 to $400 range when it's all said and done. So not too bad. And if you want to know anything about this, this is the Harbor Freight Portaband or portable bandsaw, and it is dynamite. It works like a dream. I've had this about my 4th blade on it. So far, no problems, easy to use. Walk over here and we'll see the wood. This is the wood that's been sitting for about 5 years. I painted it with barn red oil-based paint, and it's more dirty than anything else. And 16 footers, so that gives you an idea of what we're working with. Pretty good sized trailer when you think about it. My big old messy shop back in here. But you'll see more on this trailer in the next video, with your completion, all the full framing and the gate on the back. So stay tuned to that. Anybody can do this. This is not hard to do, and anybody can learn how to weld just by watching 4 or 5 welding videos. Basically, it's that simple anymore. So if you think you can find you an old RV frame and get you one that's beefy, one that's strong, something that's like this, solid boxed, you'll be ahead of the game. And if you want to replace these hubs, to remove the 944 hub or the Dexter hub, they come under numerous brandings or numerous styles. If you want to remove those, the spindles will accommodate modern hub sets. So I'm going to be doing a video on that, and I'll link them to where I got those from when you see it in the video next time around for that one. Well, I tell you, you know what's real weird about living here, man? Look at this stuff coming. Wow. Well, it's good to have a big old shop building, so let's get at it. All right. Giving my viewers a little update of what my goings on are. Got a generator. You'll see it in previous videos. And this is the trailer. The axles have been serviced, and I recently, I thought it said 3,500 pound on the axles, but when I removed these, I was a little bit shocked to find out that it's literally the maximum for this 944 Dexter, Fayette, Dayton, whatever the hell, rim. Still very good. Travel trailers put on 100,000 miles with these. Now this frame, been around a long time, so that means American steel. Okay, so what we have here is we have a 2 OD by 5.5 trailer that is from 1972. And the trailer frame is originally an Aristocrat, old RV trailer frame. Looking them up, I found that Aristocrat outsourced their trailer frames from a real trailer frame manufacturer. So now you know why it's so beefy for a trailer frame. As of 1988-89, RV companies, by paying off the people in California and Indiana, you know the rules, you know the program, bribe money apparently, and allowed these RV manufacturers to build with shit. So pretty much everything from 88, 89 started getting filtered down to where the frames became shit. This trailer luckily is a 72, and I recommend, if you're going to find an RV trailer that is going to be used like this one to make into a big flatbed, I would recommend you find one that's pre-89 or 90 backwards. Some of them since then are still good, but look for the older ones for that purpose. Now, these being 5,500 pound axles, I wanted to go ahead and service these, and we are able to use the 944 Fayette Dexter Dayton rims on these. They put on lots of miles. They seem effective. A lot of grinding work left to do here. My fenders will mount on here, and they're factory fenders, and they'll mount fine here. And you can see up in there, there's the shock absorbers. I do have 3.5 inches of clearance here, 4 1/16 inch travel in the shock absorber, and they are within the range of complete safety to where they're not going to get broke or damaged. Now, this is extremely beefy, heavy springs that are on here, and the bolts are grade 8s in comparison to other companies' grade 8s. So back here on the back, I've got the light mounts, and they're protected, and right now I'm running them just to see how hot that they might get, because you can see inside there probably they're LEDs, and some of these LEDs will get hot, so I'm checking them for that right now to make sure they don't cause any problems. These are also salvaged. I hit them with a little white plastic paint just to make them reflect better inside. They're painted inside as well as the outside with some of that white plastic high temp paint. So LEDs inside of them all the way around. You can see here that I can make them flash brighter and lighter. So just using that battery there, kind of rigged up there to test my stuff. The trailer is currently on jacks. We have the spare tire mount, which will be going over here. This will get beefed up with a hinge on it, and the tire will be able to swing out and be removed. Bolts from the back, that way it's harder to steal. It will also swing in and have a lock on it, and that makes it a good job there. Now, this generator is that one you see in my other videos that I repaired. I got it for 40 bucks, and it kicks ass. I mean, it's really a good generator. So it's going to be permanently mounted on here because this trailer, other than a lot of wire brush cleanup stuff, is a good trailer. The boards have been sitting for 5 or 6 years out in the weather. I painted them with barn red paint, Bear brand, barn red paint, and they have been impressive survivors. This is just a powdered dust dirt that's on them right now, but the paint's held up extremely well for these just being stacked in a pile outside for 5 or 6 years. So I recommend the barn red paint. You can look it up, get it at Lowe's, Home Depot, wherever the hell. It really soaks into the wood and lasts a very long time in the weather and seems to preserve them. Some of these wood has got a little bow in them, so when I bolt them down, they'll be fine. Using quarter carriage bolts, 2.5 inch long, to go through the frame. This trailer has a lot of frame members in it. So if you look in here, this piece of a lot of old salvage here. If you look in here, flip one of them over here, you see all the multiple frame cross members that are in here. There's just a lot of them, and all of the yeah, you see all the bird crap all over the boards. So all of the boards, all the bolts that'll be going down in here, including some of them that are trailer deck bolts that'll have the self-tapping for some of these hard to reach places. They're going to put this down, and we're going to be left with about 3/16 a gap between the boards when we're finished, to allow for expansion and contraction, freezing, drainage, things like that. Anybody can take one of these old travel trailers and build it into a functional flatbed trailer. This one is 6 feet wide on the deck, 15 foot 10 1/4 or 10 1/2 roughly long, and you can load anything you want on it. Come up with a pretty unique plan for a rear gate back here, which means it's just a removable, and using this as a template. This is Unistrut. So this is 1.5 by 1.5 Unistrut. It has a 7/8 wide opening right here. So you can see this here. This is a 3/4 inch wide trim board. Drops right down inside there. These boards have yet to be tail-ended cut, and they're a little down from this end. So they have to be tail-ended and brought forward a few inches and dropped into the frame down here and bolted. Other than that, a little update on my trailer and what we've done with it. Not too bad. There's going to be some of these converted to LED, like I got this at a garage sale. Not bad. This terminal box and these weatherproof lights. There will be a strip of these weatherproof lights that will mount underneath in a few spots, so that I can flip a switch off of my running lights and light up the deck. So in the evenings or at night or whatever, when I'm trying to load something, it'll light that deck up, and that's only about 10 bucks. So, and they're weatherproof. These are weather resistant. They are vinyl dipped, or whatever the hell you call it, 50/50s, and very good, very impressive lights. So giving you guys an update on what I've got built here, and the show you the underneath of it. You can see what I've done underneath. All the wiring is basically started on the run, and before I finish these deck boards, I'll get the rest of that. But you can see over here, there's the other shock absorbers mounted on the axles. This one here, that one there. It's going to make this thing very, very good handling. And right up in here, you see metal boxes. And the metal boxes, the main purpose of them is not to like keep the wires waterproof, but if you run over debris in the road, or you're out in the field and you hit debris, it won't jerk all your wiring loose. So that's a common thing with trailers, is messing your wiring up. The wire that I am using is indoor-outdoor, oxygen-free speaker audio cable. This will last about 20 years. This sheath, this covering will last about 20 years. And very handy, very good quality wire. So 12 gauge, no lack in the power to power everything. You only need 14 gauge to power your brakes. So it's just a magnet inside that slaps out. And very sufficient to run out to the box with. The 10 gauge is what it runs back with 10 gauge, and I'm going to run the 12 gauge over and then split the two to these wires, which on the brakes themselves are only 16 gauge. So it's plenty of power to magnetize the brake magnets. So not a bad setup. Generator will be mounted permanently, a lot lower without all its hardware on it, and we'll have a finished job.